gentlemen, boys and girls, we're back with another garbage time. We are T-minus 1 week, almost on the dot 1 week away from the NFL draft. And we're here to bring you very little draft-related content. One mock draft today. We got a first-round mock draft. We're going to be doing all the teams at the end of the show. Spoiler. What?
The entire – okay, this is semantics, but the entire show is about the draft. Not this coming draft, but the draft in general. So,
oh, fair, good point. Good point. All right,
he's got a point.
Well, yeah, he's right. He's not wrong. We're gonna lead off with some news. We got a fun top three in the middle of it. We
I'm Zack, and that's Nick. Nice to meet you guys. How's it going?
I haven't introduced anyone yet. Also, you're coming in choppy as hell. I don't know if that's just my internet.
Oh, really?
Maybe it was fine on my end.
Okay, so it's just me. Great. Love that for myself. I don't know what you said, Zach, but I was going to introduce everyone after. We're going to be short a Drew today, but we've got Nick and Zach in the house. How are we doing, boys?
Wednesday. Let's go.
Apparently very aggressive today. I apologize for that outburst.
He's feeling some type of way.
Right off the gun, just like at my throat.
I really got to quit.
Anyway, we're going to kick it off like we usually do with some hot headlines and news. And Allen Robinson, I think, would have had the cake for his trade to Pittsburgh if it was like 3 years ago. Yep. But I think the biggest news, actually, I realized this because there's one in the middle there I forgot about. Jalen Hurts finally gets paid. Jalen Hurts gets a huge deal, $225 5 years, and I think 175 of that, if I'm right, is guaranteed money.
Yep. Massive deal.
That's a massive deal. But it kind of makes sense when the guy brought you to the Super Bowl. And Howie Roseman really hasn't missed recently, barring a couple draft mistakes. But Howie Roseman really hasn't missed recently. So I can't blame him. If he thinks that they have their guy for the future, I'm fine with paying Jalen Hurts that much. I know a lot of people are arguing it because I think he's outside of the top five, which kind of puts him where it's at with his money. But I want to hear your guys' thoughts.
Zach, you want first?
Sure. Yeah, I mean, really, it's going to be interesting. I look at this from a Patriots perspective, too, because they're going to have to pay one of these quarterbacks that kind of money, whether it's Bailey Zappi or Mac Jones. And I really hope it's not either of the two. But it is a lot of guaranteed money. What?
Don't insult Bailey Zappi.
I'm not going to insult him. I don't know. Like,
don't insult Bailey Zappi.
He ain't worth 180 guaranteed.
Have his hands on this team for the next 5 years. For the next 5 years. I'm sorry, but like just the thought of Mac Jones being paid Daniel Jones money is not. It makes me really sick.
You also just don't have to. You can also just cut ties.
Yeah, right. We could, but it's whatever. This is a different discussion for that. But yeah, I mean, I like that they locked him up for this contract, especially after bringing them to the Super Bowl. It should be interesting to see what happens this season. Obviously, losing a couple of key pieces and then also getting that fat contract. He'll probably downturn in production, but I still think it's a good deal. I mean, I don't think there aren't 10 other quarterbacks, let alone 5 or 6 that are better than him. So
relax, Cam Newton. Nick, I want to hear your thoughts. He's staying in division.
He was always going to stay in the division, boys. Yeah, every quarterback that brings their team to the Super Bowl is going to get paid eventually, whether it's a couple years after or the year after. The quarterback market's always being reset, so each quarterback that's looking for a contract is going to get paid eventually. So that's just how it works, you know?
I can't really disagree with you, honestly. I mean, if you're getting into that level, market. Yeah. If you're getting to that level, you're going to get paid. Like Joe Burrow, I got to imagine, is probably the next one up after Lamar, obviously. Whatever happens with that. Maybe he's not. Maybe Lamar's not the next one up. But Joe Burrow has a great chance to get paid. You don't think so?
Joe Burrow's going to get paid. The thing I'm looking out for is Herbert. I have a feeling in the back of my head that says he's going to leave L.A. and go somewhere else and get paid to wherever else he lands. I just don't think he's going to stick around. I don't know. We'll see.
I kind of like that. I kind of like that idea because you have all these guys, right, laid out in front of you. the odds are not all of them are going to stick to where they are.
No. Especially he's been on like the above 500 mark for the last 3 years, 2-3 years. He's gonna want out if they don't add any weapons to the offense or beef up that defense. Not with just old vets either. So we'll
right.
see.
I mean, he knows his value. He like if the team's not going to support him and equal out to his value, then suck it. So next news is actually a good little bit of talking point here. Tua apparently has considered and is considering. There's two different tenses I've seen in reports. Retirement after his multiple concussion season. Quite frankly, I can't blame him. After a hip injury that like 10 years ago would have ended a career, and then 2 concussions in the same year, I don't hate it. I don't hate it. He's made his money. Like, he has enough he can live comfortably on. If he's not devoted to the game, I don't really see a reason for him to stay. But Nick, I want to hear your thoughts.
What was it? 2 concussions in like 3 weeks? Was that how it went?
It was something wild. Like, well, not even that. Might have realistically, it was probably 3 because there was that one that was before. He got the huge concussion on prime time. I can't remember what game, and then he got another one after that. Or no, the primetime game was the like.
Yeah, he seized up or whatever. I don't know if seized is the right word, but his hands fucking.
I don't know what it was. It was scary.
It was. Yeah, I don't blame him. I think you have in a player in that position, you have to contemplate retirement. I mean, they obviously love the game, but you got to watch out for your body and especially your mind and your brain. You don't want to screw yourself the rest of your life over a game. That you may or may not play 10, 15 years, especially at his point. So
Chris Benoit music starts playing in the background. Zach, what do you think? Thank you for getting that.
Jesus, James, my God.
You didn't expect a Chris Benoit.
I can understand where that's coming from, and he has made enough money to live comfortably for the majority of the rest of his life. I mean, that picture of him pretty much both weeks will forever be ingrained in my mind. I mean, that was terrifying.
Nobody's going to forget that. Nobody.
I mean, and it's just crazy to me, too, because we also, I mean, obviously that was a huge talking point, but, the whole Damar Hamlin thing, too. I mean, it just, we had so many, I wouldn't say freak injuries, but we had so many devastating injuries this past NFL season. I mean, it's a lot to look at. So I don't blame him for looking back and thinking about retiring or anything like that. I mean, it's your life. You can't play with that shit. So
no, it's miles more important than the NFL. As much as the NFL might not agree with that.
He's what, 24, 23, 24?
Yeah, he's still on his rookie deal. He's on his option year now.
Yeah, so I mean, it's just like you have so much life left to live. I mean, if you have to walk away, then then go for it. If you're walking away because you're unsure or whatnot, then take some time. There's always backup QB.
Always.
Right? There's always backup QB.
And these guys are in a position where they can go and be an announcer, be an analyst on NFL.
Right. Exactly.
Anything. You can still be in the game. It's just whether or not you want to put your body at harm.
I heard the EA Madden ratings adjuster positions are very lucrative as well.
I heard. Isn't Ocho Cinco one?
He is. He is in fact one.
Can you imagine the dream team of Ocho Cinco and Tua? I'd like it. I've never actually heard Tua.
I don't see that mixing, but okay.
I think I just love it to get him out of the NFL. I don't think Tua is necessarily the most charismatic guy in the world, especially next to Ocho Cinco.
No.
But
actually, James, his name is Chad Johnson again now.
Oh, is it really?
Yeah, he changed it back later in his career. Yes, he did. I swear to God, you never know. You guys seriously? No. Yes, he went from Chad Johnson to Chad Ochocinco, then back to Chad Johnson.
No,
he went back. I swear to God.
No, I don't.
I'm gonna have to look that up after we're done.
Yeah, look it up. I'm telling you what happened.
So you briefly mentioned his name too. Another guy that personally I think should just stay home, especially after something where he almost died. Damar Hamlin gets fully cleared to return to the NFL. Zach,
I,
same situation,
okay.
same boat. Stay out.
No,
Focus on you.
I think that's a little different. I think that again, when I said freak accidents earlier, I mean concussions and head injuries, all that kind of stuff, unfortunately, is commonplace in the NFL. What happened to DeMar Hamlin was a freak accident. I mean, that was insane. The fact that happened. I mean, he had to have been hit perfectly at the right time and all that. I mean, if he's cleared to play and he wants to play, I mean, he can give it a shot. He's on the side of the ball that goes to hit people. I mean, I don't know what more to say about that. So it's just that's scary.
Did you guys read any reports of retirement for Hamlin?
For
I didn't see
Hamlin. No, I didn't hear anything about retirement for him. But
I didn't see anything.
again, you have to think, right? What kind of deal does DeMar Hamlin have? Right? He doesn't have a 5-year whatever Tua has. I don't know what quarterback rookie contracts look like in the NFL. But
yeah, I'm not sure about the numbers.
He probably makes a quarter of what Tua makes.
Yeah, probably.
So you have to take a look at that and weigh all those options. And obviously he wants to try and stick it out. I mean, to me, it seemed like it was like a 1 in a billion thing that happened. And obviously it's scary. If he's medically cleared and he wants to do it, then that's his prerogative.
Mm-hmm.
The thing with that is that, are there long-term ramifications from him going back and playing the game? Whereas if Tua does and he gets another concussion,
that's most likely it for Tua if he gets another concussion.
He might be drinking his meals through a straw.
Yeah. And it sucks to say, but it's just the reality of what
it is. No, I mean it is. It does suck to say, and it's no, no. All jokes aside, like I mean, it's scary, but yeah, I mean, they're two different situations. One was a freak accident. One is something that happens more often than is publicized, and you do have to treat them like separate instances. The freak accident, I mean, it's not something that we hope we would ever see again, but unfortunately. I mean, head trauma in the NFL is a commonplace that will continue happening. It's a violent contact sport. You wear helmets made of plastic and metal. I mean, what So
what do you really expect?
Right, I know exactly. I mean, just like you go into playing football, assuming that knowing that you have the chance of sustaining like an injury or a concussion. You don't go in playing football thinking that you're going to get hit and your heart stops. That's the main difference for me. So
you're not wrong, I guess. Yeah, I don't think he ever thought like, man, I'm going to get hit in the chest and then almost die in Buffalo, which oddly enough sounds miserable to me.
I think they announced him legally dead for like 3 minutes on the field. I think he actually died.
He was down for a
long time. That's what I was reading that today. I think he was legally dead for like 3 or 4 minutes, which is insane.
Yeah, that's.
Power to him though. I hope he has a good season next year, and I hope he's healthy.
Yeah. Well, this has been.
We hope here for nothing but help.
Yes, no kidding. I mean, for both of them, obviously, but.
All right. Well, I think that's about all we have for news, unless I'm missing anything major. Oh, no, I am. The Ravens offered Lamar a contract shortly after the Jalen Hurts deal with about $200 in guaranteed money, and we have yet to hear what has happened with that. I don't think anything's going to happen with that. I think he's just genuinely fed up with Baltimore. I think he just wants out.
Yeah.
Obviously.
Yeah, but I mean, we've seen the last couple of weeks and what his value is, and it's not a lot. It's not as much as he thought it was going to be.
Nope. I think he was banking on himself, and it ended up biting him in the ass real hard.
Yeah, I think so too. And now the Ravens can come in and lowball him. Honestly, I mean, not that $200 million is a lowball, and
that's what he wanted. He wanted the $200 million in guarantees. That's what he initially wanted, and now he has it. Now, where's his answer?
So
how long is everybody going to have to wait?
And that's the thing too, is that it comes out that they offered him a contract. That's coming from that's coming from the Ravens front office. They're like, hey, Cards on the table. What are you gonna do? You wanted us to give you the money. Here it is. Now what are you gonna do? And you're right, James. He's not gonna stay. He's not. He's fed up with it. I mean, I don't know. Like, I like John Harbaugh. I think he's a good coach, but I don't know. Just like, is that the style of offense that you want to continue running if you're Lamar Jackson? No,
It's not what they originally had either with Joe Flacco.
it's not. And not only that, you can't draft a wide receiver to save your life.
No.
So I mean,
No.
it just at all. So I don't know where he's gonna go. I mean, it baffles me that quarterbacks like Derek Carr and Jimmy Garoppolo found places before he did.
Yeah, that's insane. I don't know how that happened.
I think a very likely scenario we're looking at, especially with the rumor that's been floating around, is like Lamar will end up leaving. They might ship him out, and they probably won't go for a quarterback in this class. But I could see them shipping a late round or like a mid-round pick to get Trey Lance out of San Francisco and play a relatively like similar style. And if it doesn't work, oh well. If it does hit though, if he's the dude that fucking San Fran traded up for, great. Guess what? You got your dude and he's young.
Yeah.
And yeah, you don't have to pay him for what, 3 years?
Throwback to San Francisco trading up to get Trey Lance, and then they're gonna bench him for like a 7th round pick.
It happens. I also don't think Brock Purdy's that dude, but that's
but like he's not. But then you just went through 3 of your quarterbacks within a matter of 2 years, and you traded up for the 3rd overall pick in one of those years and lost like pretty much all your draft picks for the next 3 years, and you still don't have your quarterback.
And their team is still nasty somehow.
No, their team is ridiculous. But they don't have a quarterback. It's pretty much the only position that they need is quarterback. That's it. They just can't find them. It's been the one position that's hindered them the entire time that they've had runs. Has been quarterback. I mean, think about back to when they played the Ravens in the Super Bowl. I don't have anything against Colin Kaepernick, but that team was stacked.
Oh,
that team was nasty.
What I feared most about that
he couldn't play. He couldn't play with the rest of them. So
that defense is all I remember.
I mean, come on, Patrick Willis. Come on.
And Navarro Bowman. Dude, those guys would scare you to death.
Yeah, that's the last of a good breed of linebacker.
Oh yeah,
or at least the old school linebacker. I mean, Michael Parsons is ridiculous.
Yeah, but he's a different type of breed. He's like the linebackers now are athletic. Like those were like straight freight trucks or freight trains that were coming through back in the day.
Yeah,
like Donta Hightower is probably the line where it starts like.
Yeah. I mean, he was probably the last like prototypical middle linebacker, like run support, will run you over a linebacker.
Yeah.
And then you kind of started to see like smaller linebackers come out, and I feel like it kind of transitioned where they started getting more athletic, but because they were more athletic and the play style wasn't there yet, we didn't see a lot of like, I guess, of those kind of linebackers make it out of the draft and into a team and really succeed until really like, I would say like Leighton Vander Esch had a really good rookie year. I remember.
Yeah.
And that was like an anomaly. And then
Leonard, maybe.
Shaq Leonard. Yeah, I guess so. That's fair.
A little bit later, but like, I think Vander Esch.
He's more of a hybrid though. He's not like your prototypical. He's good in run support and can tackle, but like, I don't know. He's way more athletic than some of the other linebackers that were drafted as like a traditional whatever. But anyways, yeah. So I don't. Is that it for headlines? I don't think I have anything football related. Mostly hockey and basketball playoffs, obviously.
2-0.
Yep, Celtics up 2-0. Yep. Celtics up 2-0. Bruins are playing tonight, 7:30. They're playing the Panthers again. I guess not a cool headline, but like a crazy stat from the past 2 hockey games. There was a Winnipeg Jets player who fell on a skate and had 72 stitches on his face in the locker room and came back out and played.
Whoa!
So
you and I have very different definitions of fun, Zach.
It's fun because he came back out, James. If it wasn't, then I would say a sad stat. Little sad stat, James.
You're younger than me at this or forever. But do you remember the dude
it depends,
that got that got tripped up and ended up getting a skate like that almost cut his jugular. Like his skate went back and the guy behind him was right there.
Yeah, that's happened a couple times. There was a goalie that got a skate to the jugular and lost like 3 quarts of blood on the ice.
Holy shit!
Like the late '90s. I think maybe it was Dominic Hasek, but I don't remember.
Hardcore.
I know it's weird because it's like figure skating, but like alleyway figure skating, if that makes sense.
Maybe I do want to wear a hat. I'm undecided right now.
Get a cowboy hat and put the makeup back on, Reba.
I don't know where my cowboy hat is, dude. I'll do a combo Pibbs Reba.
That's a picture we got to put on for rotation. Is that Reba pick?
Yeah, 100%. That's got to get in there.
Good. Anyway.
All right. Well, we're gonna move on to our top 3 this week, and this is a good one. Like Zach kind of mentioned, we're still talking about the draft, but we stopped caring about positions that were left, so we moved on.
I mean, to be fair, we did talk about the offense, and then when it came to the defense, we're just like, yeah, we're not doing this. It's not happening. Here's what you need to know about the defense. Here's what you need to know about the defense. Will Anderson, good. Jalen Carter, criminal. Everyone else, draft him. There you go.
I'm piss poor at fucking like predicting defense too.
Offense fine. Defense I leave anything beyond the second round, Bill Belichick nails. Especially on the defensive side of the ball. Both his cornerback picks last year were home runs. I mean, Jack Jones is going to be a stud, and Marcus Jones is going to be an amazing 2A corner. So,
and if you're following along with the BOTA drinking game, this is your first chance to take a drink when Zach somehow brings up the Patriots. That's 1 shot.
It's actually 2. I brought them up earlier, but that's fine.
I haven't even brought up the Giants yet.
I know. I try not to bring up the Browns.
Talking about the draft, I'm obviously going to bring it back to my team, James. It's not like you have a first or a second round pick to draft me, little bitch.
I have like a 3rd round pick. I have to wait until I guess dates here still, but
no, it's okay. Right. All your 1st and 2nd round picks are still on your team. They're just, they're there.
What? There's some hits in there. There's a lot of missing.
$240 million guaranteed, but they're still there.
Yeah. Anyway,
for those of you playing the BOTA drinking game at home, this was the first time that we mentioned Deshaun Watson to James. Now everyone can take a shot for that.
No, you're not supposed to say his name. If you say it 3 times, he'll appear. He's like Beetlejuice, but he's a molester. So our top 3 this week, Nick is going to get the 1st overall pick in the snake draft. We are doing the top 3 draft classes OAT of all time. There's some stacked ones in there. There's really only a few good options, though. Nick, I don't know if you're ready to pick, but I wish I had the.
I have to clip that.
Let's go.
I'm just letting you know that's going to be a clip from now on.
I'm with it. But for my first pick, I'm going to say the 2004 draft where Eli Manning went 1st overall. I think you guys knew where I was going with that one.
I honestly,
to be completely honest with you, yeah, I did actually.
You should have known by now. I'm gonna bring up Eli any chance I can.
Yeah,
but that draft class stacked. They had Phillip Rivers, Big Ben, and obviously Eli. So I can't really say much more.
That's a good pick. That's a solid pick.
Then I'd still be talking, but
Yeah, that's fair. Good point.
Moving on to the next guy.
Who's next? Me or you, James? I'm sorry, I missed that part.
Dude, all right. So, obviously people are going to talk about the later ones. I got the middle pick, by the way. Zach is going to have the 80s they're talking about. People are talking about the 80s draft classes. Bitches love them. Old heads on the internet love the 80s. I'm going to go a little bit different. I'm looking at 2017. I'm going to take that as my number 1 overall pick, which might be bold. But when you really look at this, squad, obviously the biggest name to be Patrick Mahomes coming out of it. But you're talking Myles Garrett, Christian McCaffrey, Patrick Mahomes, Deshaun Watson, for what's better with. That's 2 times. Watch out. Marlon Humphrey. Just going down the list on some of these names. Most of these dudes are just either slept on or have Hall of Fame careers ahead of them. I don't know. I loved the 2017 class. I'm going to lock that in as a 2nd overall pick. Might not be a popular one, but I'm going to go with 2017.
All right. That's interesting. As your
I
top
know,
pick.
changed up.
I definitely think it. I think it. In hindsight, it'll be deserved to be picked there for sure. But I mean, you're leaving a lot of big players on the board.
I know. With 2 picks to you.
I know. I get 2 picks, so I'm gonna play it safe. I think that a lot of weight needs to go into Pro Bowlers, Super Bowl MVPs, and so my number 1 draft class of all time is going to be 1983. I'm going to be an old head. I don't fucking care. This class had 2 Super Bowl MVPs, one of them being John Elway. 8 Hall of Famers, James. I'm going to name them for you right now. Eric Dickerson, Jim Kelly, John Elway, Dan Marino, Bruce Matthews, I don't know who that is. Darryl Green, I know who he is. Richard Dent, and Jimbo Covert. Don't know who that is either. But the big ones there for you: Eric Dickerson, Jim Kelly, John Elway, Dan Marino. That's a heavy group of Hall of Famers.
No, that's a squad, honestly.
That's yeah. John Elway was that year's number 1 overall pick, which probably would go down as one of the best number 1 picks of all time. So that adds into of its legitimacy, James. So
strong pick. No, 83 is a strong pick. You're not going to hear any opposition from me.
He also had like 50. It also had like 50 or 60 Pro Bowlers too from that class.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
We've got 2004, 2017, 1983. Zach, what do you do on the flip?
So on the flip, I am gonna go with a little less of a traditional pick here. It is going to be from the 80s, but it's not a very deep class. So they didn't have a ton of Pro Bowl power in this class. However, their top 5 picks this was the best top 5 draft of all time. Troy Aikman was drafted this year. This is 1989. He won a Super Bowl MVP with the Cowboys. This top 5 draft class featured Barry Sanders, Derek Thomas, Troy Aikman, Deion Sanders, Steve Atwater, and unfortunately for Drew's Packers, Tony Mandarich, which was that year. I can't believe that. That's ridiculous. But Barry Sanders, Troy Aikman, Derek Thomas, Deion Sanders, Steve Atwater. That is a loaded top 5.
Absolutely.
So
it's stacked. That's a good one.
That's it there for me. That's my second pick. So back to James.
All right. I'm going to keep it somewhat modern still, not as modern as before, but I'm going to go 1998 because we're talking Hines Ward, Peyton, the Sheriff, Randy Moss, Charles Woodson, just Super Bowls, Hall of Fames, all the accolades. Throw it at 1990. I might only be looking at the top down on that one, but I love the 98 class.
That is a good draft class. You might actually have that is a good draft class. You might have the most felonies per draftee in that draft class because Ryan Leaf alone has like 75. He committed so many misdemeanors.
Oh my goodness.
I'm going with the classes that are really dancing the lines of legality. I'm realizing now that
oh my god. Well, hey, break a few laws.
All right, Nick. Back to you for 2.
For 2. All right. So my first one, I am going to go the 2014 draft. I feel like that is probably one of the most stacked drafts in recent memory. You have guys like Odell Beckham, Mike Evans, Devontae Adams, and Aaron Donald, and that's only naming a few. But yeah, that's actually one of my favorite draft classes in the last few years.
I love the very I'm not even trying to shit on you now because I know we've jokingly shit on each other. I'm not even trying to shit on you, but the fucking very clear Giants bias that the first player you name out of that class is OBJ.
I wasn't even trying to. I'm not even trying to.
It's fair though. It's fair. Rookie year OBJ, dude. No hate. Just some chirping. That's all.
Yeah, it's all good. Even guys like Khalil, they had guys like Khalil Mack,
Mm-hmm.
Kyle Fuller, Shazier before he got annihilated, Brandon Cooks, Clinton Dix, guys like that. They're just all Pro Bowlers, man.
Mm-hmm. Good call.
All right. Now, this pick is solely based on my love for the Giants. I'm going to say it outright. 2018, because I love Saquon Barkley. I don't want him to go. I have a fear that he's going to be on a different team next year, and I'm patiently waiting to see what the Giants do.
You know,
That's my sole reason.
that's not a bad one because I honestly had 2018 listed just off of like potential. I'm banking on a lot there, but 2018 is a really fucking good class.
Absolutely.
Damn, Nick, I like those picks. I
think it's a solid trio.
Yeah. Oh yeah, dude, you kept it modern as hell. Actually,
I did.
I was gonna try to get a whole date range, but I don't know, 14 years. That's pretty good. All right.
04 to 18.
Where are you
I'm
going with
gonna
this, James?
go.
Where are you going?
Huh?
Where are you going with this?
I
You're making me real
dude,
nervous now.
I know. I think I'm gonna go. I don't want to because it's not like looking back on it, it might not be like the people they have at the top of this class were really fucking good. But I'm gonna go 2011.
Oh, okay.
Huh?
Thank God. Nothing.
No, I'm gonna go 2011. I mean, think what you want about Cam Newton before or after the injuries, but before the injuries, Cam Newton, Von Miller, AJ Green was in that mix, Patrick Peterson, Julio Jones, JJ Watt, Robert Quinn, Cam Jordan, Cam Hayward, Mark Ingram, Kyle Rudolph for what that's worth, Rodney Hudson, Justin Houston's in there. There's some fucking solid ass stars that came out of there. And a good amount of them are going to have words Hall of Fame careers. Not Cam Newton at this point, but
no.
Marcus Cannon was in that class.
I think every guy that you listed off it was a Pro Bowler at some point in their career. So
Jason Kelce was in the 6th round of that class.
Wow.
Damn, I didn't realize Jason Kelce was down there, but look at that. Yeah, I'm saying there's some like the people that you're gonna remember out of that class are so memorable that I think it's a solid pick for my 3. But kick it over. Zach gets the last one.
I'm obviously my first 2 picks were from the 80s. I'm gonna go a little. Can't say recent because it's over 20 years ago, but
you call your shot and say 2023 right now. Call your shot. Say 2022. Fuck it. Honestly, wouldn't hate the take.
No, I'm good. I'm gonna go 2001. I'm gonna go 2001. Frontline by LT. So there are a lot of players in this draft that had Pro Bowl seasons. Not a lot of them have made it to the Hall of Fame. But just in the first round, Michael Vick, one of them. Let's see who else. LT, Richard Seymour, Andre Carter. Who else do we got here? Santana Moss, Steve Hutchinson, Deuce McAllister. Anybody remember him?
Yeah, Deuce. Wow, that's a name I haven't thought of in a while.
Yeah, no kidding. Reggie Wayne was also picked in the first round there. But a lot of people forget about the second round of this draft. Drew Brees? Anyone?
Oh, I forgot about him.
Ocho Cinco got drafted in the second round of this draft.
Wow.
Chad Johnson.
I remember for some reason Algie Crumpler. I remember him playing for the Patriots for like one season. I don't know why. Really strange. There were a lot of interesting picks. Matt Light, very good tackle for the Patriots. Chris Chambers, if anybody remembers him, used to play for the Dolphins.
Vaguely.
He was a good fantasy pickup back in the day. Steve Smith, this draft also.
Solid.
Yeah. A lot of it was very top heavy for this draft, most specifically in the top 3. But there were some names on here that I was kind of surprised that were overshadowed, like like Steve Smith. Didn't really get put on a list, so that's why I did my own digging. Nope, he wasn't there for the draft analysis when I was looking at it. But yeah, I mean, there's some really good names on there. Also, does anyone remember TJ Hushmanzada?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was also drafted in this draft, so that's why this is the best draft of all time. End of story. The Hushman.
I like it.
Yeah.
Nice.
Hushman. All right. So I think that rounds it up. Wow. Nice job, guys. I think this one's going to be tighter than last week. I won last week. I'd have to check the final numbers again, but I believe I won last week. Zack getting 1 vote from himself.
Yep. I vote. Yep. What's up, guys? I voted for myself. What's going on?
You gotta pander more. That's your issue. Is you gotta pander.
I'm not fucking pandering. They can either like it or not.
No,
like
you
it.
gotta pander. You gotta pander. That's your issue. You're not pandering enough. Always be pandering. ABP. Are we doing the what's it called? Ready for the first round mock?
Let's do it.
Round 1.
Round one, yes.
Round 1. Present. Wow, I got a lot of stuff, but not what I want. Hold on.
Sorry, he didn't notice. That's fine. We'll just keep going.
Did you mute me again?
Yeah, you didn't even know.
I thought his internet broke. I thought his internet.
I'm only doing it once because then it starts just an unraveling of everything. I can't. Sometimes.
Yeah, it doesn't go well. It's a slippery slope.
It is.
So we've got it. Every team selected. We're doing 1 round. Are you boys ready?
Let's do it.
Actually, this is small. I keep forgetting that. I apologize. There you go.
I don't want to do trades. Fuck off. You don't tell me I can do trades if I can't do trades.
Wait.
All
No,
right,
hold on.
Yeah.
James, I have a trade for the Panthers.
Too bad. That really sucks. Apparently you can't.
No, I really do though. All right, can you pick the Bears?
No, Zach, we can't do
I
trades.
don't care. I want DJ Moore back. It was such a
Anyway,
bad trade. Oh my god, sorry. Anyways, I just want to highlight how much of a fucking fleecing that was by the Bears.
Ryan Poles with the straight
Oh my
shafting.
god, he
The
pants
seismic activity of his Schmeat hitting a table. Where are we going with this one?
He rocked Charlotte. I mean, I don't think there's anywhere else to go. It's Bryce. Bryce is going to be consensus. Not that he is consensus.
I think
with the Panthers, he's consensus 1.
Yeah, I think they tried to kind of put the fire out on a rumor that got out saying that they weren't going to go Bryce Young at 1 overall, or they were, but they're like, oh, we might not. It's like, you are. You're going to go Bryce Young.
Yeah,
he's the best.
It's all just to throw teams off. That's all it is. That's all they're trying to do.
What does it matter? It's like whatever.
What does that do at this point?
I don't know. It doesn't do anything.
So Bryce Young, Carolina. Houston's on the clock. Now this is where it gets interesting because I think Houston.
Sorry. That's that's my vote, but
I'm in agreement with that.
Yeah,
oh, that's interesting. That we didn't even need to debate that, huh, James? It's really crazy.
Could have been a lot of things that happened with that pick, but CJ Stroud goes number 2 overall. Number 3, the Arizona Cardinals. This one also looking a little weird. I'm going to assume it's something defensive because they need so much help in that defensive line. Is it against Carter or Anderson?
I don't know.
How?
I feel like they're gonna not that we're gonna do this, but I feel like this is a pick that's gonna get traded. I think that what will happen is that a team that needs a quarterback will trade up and get this pick and pick either Anthony Richardson or Will Levis, whichever one that they think won't make it to them at whatever stage. So
yeah,
realistically,
I can see that happening.
If they do keep the pick, I mean, how could you not go with Will Anderson over Jalen Carter? I mean, just on the outside stuff alone.
I still think Jalen Carter is the best athlete in this draft class. Just for size or comparable. But you're right, because I know what you're gonna say. just because of all the off-field stuff, it has to be Will Anderson.
But not even that. The Cardinals are not a franchise where you can get away with that shit. Because they'll just let whatever happens. I mean, it's apparent they can't even keep their toddler-sized quarterback in check. How are they supposed to keep a kid like this in check?
He said toddler-sized quarterback.
He is. He's like what?
He's a small guy.
5'7"?
Damn.
Again, his size has nothing to do with it, but I mean, I don't know what the hell's wrong with them.
I don't either.
But again, they're not a franchise that you can take seriously. So
Not now, anyway.
If they were smart, they would pick someone that went to a school in a system. Well, I guess you can see the same thing about Georgia, though. I mean, Georgia and Alabama are both in the SEC, and they're both powerhouses. But I don't know. It's really just Jalen Carter. Yeah, no, I know. It's just the off-field stuff for me that it doesn't have a good mix with the kind of Cardinals franchise, the way that the franchise is going. But that is the franchise. So, I mean, they could go for it. I don't know. I would pick Will Anderson here if I were the Cardinals, but
I'm good with Will Anderson.
I'm an NFL GM. So.
Yeah, I think Will Anderson's a solid. I think Jalen Carter. It's just the uncertainty of not knowing where he's gonna be.
Mm-hmm. All right, another interesting pick. Likely, they're going quarterback of the future or assumed quarterback of the future. Mm-hmm. But they also need help, man. They can get a wide receiver here if they really feel strongly about one. But I think they.
I think that this is probably the most short pick of this draft. They're gonna go Will Levis. They're gonna go Will Levis. I'm sorry, they are.
Let's see how many people have him to the Colts. Okay, there we go. 30% have him going to the Colts. Wow. All right, Will Levis to the Colts.
I mean, that to me just feels like the most sure pick of this draft. It really does.
Yeah. Seattle, another interesting one. I could see them going line here. I think this is a spot where they might move out of. Jalen Carter's a tempting pick here, if we're going to be honest, but I could also see them going like Tyree Wilson.
Sure, they could.
I'm not in love with Lucas Van Ness. I like it. I love Kalijah Kancey, but no one else really does. I mean, people clearly do as a first-round pick, but you get the idea.
I mean, with Carter, I feel like the Seahawks are a better franchise situation for him, especially with the kind of defense that Pete Carroll likes to build and what he's currently building right now. He got a quarterback out of a situation where it was just toxic for everyone, and they seem to be on the up and up and going in the right direction. I mean, they had the 5th overall pick and they were just in the playoffs. So, they're in a position to take a chance. So I definitely think Jalen Carter would be a good choice for them. However, I think that either him or Wilson would be a good fit for the Seahawks. So I'm impartial to the pick.
I'd say probably I see them going Jalen Carter, but if they don't pick him, I see them trading out of the 5th round or 5th overall pick. And I don't know exactly who, but I could see them going for a star defensive player. Not, like I said, not sure who, but I could definitely see it happening.
They don't need to spend a pick on top corner because they have Tyreek Woolen. He's gonna be their star corner. So I would say defensive line, either the edge or Jalen Carter. I think he's just gonna do it because he's gonna agree with us at some point. But I think out of the next like 3 or 4 teams where he would get drafted, that's probably the best situation for him. I think is the Seahawks, and I think the Seahawks will realize that they can overlook the off-field stuff because they have a good system in place.
I like it. Jalen Carter.
I don't understand this.
What?
I don't understand why the Lions need more wide receivers. They have Jameson Williams and Amon-Ra St. Brown. Why do they need wide receivers?
Injury concerns for Jameson Williams, maybe?
I guess, but if they're both, but Jameson Williams barely played last year, and Amon-Ra St. Brown, I mean,
he's always getting hurt too. I mean, when he plays, he's good, but he's always missing a couple games a season.
That's fair, I guess. Yeah, but I mean, if that really is their top need, I mean, personally, I mean, if they're looking at defensive line, I think Tyree Wilson would be a good slot for them here. they did trade corners. Their cornerbacks could use an improvement, so I could maybe see them going that way. This seems like a pick that they might trade out of too. If I had my gut telling me, they probably pick, they probably swap with like, geez, I don't know. They're gonna swap with someone that needs a corner, or maybe they swap with someone that needs a QB and tries to draft Anthony Richardson in front of the Raiders.
Tennessee, perhaps?
Tennessee could do that if they wanted to. They did just draft Malik Willis, and I don't understand why you would make a jump like that again. Unless
they also didn't invest a lot of capital.
No, they didn't. They didn't invest a lot of capital in him, but you're at the point where you need a quarterback, and you need to make sure that he is ready to play. Yeah. Is Anthony Richardson ready to play in the NFL? Do we know that for sure? No. Do we know Kyler Murray was ready to play in the NFL? I want to say yeah. I say yeah.
We really thought I was doing MLB, but I'm gonna say yeah.
So I think that if you were the Titans, if you want to invest a lot of that capital in Anthony Richardson, you're going to be cutting a lot of players that you already have, and if he doesn't work out, then you're a bottom feeding franchise for the next 25 years. So,
man's not wrong.
I'm not. Look what happens when teams don't know how to draft. They get in a perpetual cycle. I mean, how many times have we seen the Lions draft within the top 10 the last 25 years? How many times have we seen the Bears draft within the top 10 the last 25 years? I mean, it's a perpetual cycle of mediocrity and then losing your star players because you don't know how to anything. But whatever. I would say the Lions either go Devon Witherspoon or they go edge with Tyree Wilson. I think as a realistic pick, those are your two best bets.
I'd probably go Devon Witherspoon. I
mean, it makes more sense, at least in my mind, for them to go for secondary help because they have Aiden Hutchinson. You don't need to put another Aiden Hutchinson on the other side of the line, but you could if you wanted to.
And they just traded away Jeff Okudah to the
exactly. That's my point here is that they just traded Jeff Okudah. This is a perfect spot to pick such a high prospect. And I mean, the Jets hit a home run last year with Sauce. So I mean, you could be looking at another area where you're picking your top guy. He's the guy, and he could turn out just like Sauce. So,
side note about Sauce, did you guys hear him say that he wants to go after MVP next season, or eventually? I don't know if he said next season, but
that would be insane if a defensive player actually won MVP.
Imagine
at least in our time. Doesn't that never happens? I mean, it was never. Crazy when Adrian Peterson won it, let alone a defensive player. So, yeah, I'll go. I would go Witherspoon or Tyree Wilson. Those are my two picks. So
I'm gonna go Witherspoon.
Witherspoon. All right.
The only reason I'm gonna not say Witherspoon, I don't even think honestly Tyree Wilson's the move here. But I'm looking at the offseason acquisitions, and you're talking. I mean, they're not like the most burn the world down names, but CJ Gardner-Johnson coming off of a great year. Emmanuel Mosley, who's a solid depth piece. Cameron Sutton, who can still have a great role. Now, granted, they do need that guy. I don't know if that's as immediate need as their run defense, because their run defense was terrible last year.
Yeah.
So if I'm really looking at it, I'm looking Tyree Wilson, which sounds like the common denominator here, but even then I'm not in love with that. Or Kalijah Cansey, but in run defense, I'm not 100% sold on him. So I think I'd go Tyree Wilson, but I'm not in love with that pick, if I'm going to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, this to me feels like a pick that the Lions trade out of. I think that is kind of why we're all hesitant, because there's not really a good piece for them in the next 4 or 5 picks to justify picking said person at 6. Mm-hmm. I mean, because if you reach at 6 and you could have traded that for more assets, you look like an ass. So Yeah, I mean, I think this is a pick that they trade. I don't know how you want to go about this, but I mean,
I think we're going to take Tyree Wilson just for ADP purposes.
well, wait.
And talk about
What if we took a look and just said, hey, you know what? We think that this team would trade up for them, and then we draft the player for
Yeah, I
the
mean,
Lions.
you're right.
Team.
We can't make an actual trade right now. My inner ear is so.
No, we can't. We can't. That's what I'm saying. So, like, if we really think that this pick is going to be traded, we should take a look and see, because we don't have to work out the logistics of the trade. We can just say, hey, there's going to be a trade. This team's going to get this pick, and they're going to pick this person.
So then, realistically, who are you thinking jumps up? Because I think 11 jumps. I think I could see the Titans jumping up.
I think so, too.
I could see the Titans jumping up. I know this is going to be really, really weird to say. I could see the Packers jumping up and getting Anthony Richardson.
Wow.
I don't know.
I don't love that. But hear me out. I don't love that either. However, the Packers need to make a splash. This entire Aaron Rodgers trade looming over their heads. They've lost pretty much all confidence in their team. They need to do something, and they need to do it fast. The best way to do that is to revamp your entire quarterback room and draft high as a quarterback. And I mean, this kid is electric. So,
if I don't see the Packers trading up for a quarterback, but I do see them trading up for a receiver. And I do think that they take the big guy from Ohio State, JSN or whatever
Jackson
his name is.
Yeah.
They haven't drafted a wide receiver in the first round in how many years.
Of course, it takes Aaron Rodgers to leave for them to finally do that.
I think that's what it's going to be. I think that's
all right. I mean, that's fair.
That's
fair. Okay. I mean, but then again, I can agree with the Titans too. I think the Titans are a completely logical choice for trading up and getting a guy like Anthony Richardson or I mean, it's hard to imagine. There's no good fit for someone else other than the Raiders or the Falcons really to take Richardson, right? I mean, there just really isn't.
Right, like at this point for the Raiders to trade up one pick, like it would be stupid.
Right, they're not gonna unless they're afraid that someone is gonna swoop in, and really, there's no other team that fits that description. Is looking for a quarterback like Anthony Richardson, like. So I would say the Lions either trade the pick to the Titans go Anthony Richardson, or the Lions just take what's left on the board. They just go best and they go either Wilson or Witherspoon. I mean, it really is semantics at this point. So
I'm fine with that. I kind of like that move. I mean, I'm not in love with it, but I like what you were going with it.
So what are we doing with it?
Move on. Anthony Richardson?
Yeah.
Yep. All right. So Titans trade up, get Anthony Richardson.
So then we got to remember that's the Lions pick there.
That's the Lions. Yeah, we'll try to limit the trades unless we really can't make a decision.
Right. So the Raiders now on the clock. They kind of lost their pick at quarterback. This is a spot they could trade out, but honestly need a lot of help. So if I'm looking at the total of an offensive line, Peter Skoronski's great. I think Paris Johnson would do a lot better on their offensive line. Defensive interior, I mean, I guess you could go Kalijah, but I feel like that's still a jump. Christian Gonzalez feels like a classic Raiders kind of corner, but I think the best pick here would be Devon Witherspoon.
I was going to say either Devon Witherspoon for corner or Skoronski, but I mean, putting my Raiders cap on, I'm afraid to draft defensive players.
Yeah, like I'm with you guys. I think they go.
I think the talent is there to justify it. I just like how many defensive players are they just going to absolutely miss on the last 5 years?
Till they hit, I guess. I feel like that's the vibe that they give off.
I guess. I think Witherspoon. I would agree. I think you're in the worst division for quarterbacks. So you probably want corner. You probably need corner. So I would argue.
So we're going Witherspoon?
Let's do it. Witherspoon.
Yeah.
Witherspoon! All right, Atlanta's on the clock. Quarterback, I guess, but I think they're going to wait on that one. I think Desmond Ritter's their guy going forward for at least this year. They've committed to that, so there's no reason to bring
they're in a
competition
terrible
right.
division too. So I mean, it's not like
They're in a
you need a
position where they can flip a lot of stuff, and they've made a lot of great moves. But is this where Tyree Wilson goes, or are they going to go for another big body wide receiver, or just a wide receiver in general? But
I would
John,
I would go defense. I mean, they made some big signings in the offseason. Jesse Bates being the marquee one. I would continue to go defense, especially on this side of the ball. I mean, Tyree Wilson is a home wrecker. So I mean, it just you have a division of mediocre quarterbacks. You got to play him twice a year. You could really let this kid feed on Bryce Young, who again is fine, but not developed. Derek Carr and whoever the hell. Oh, Baker.
yeah, baby.
Baker.
so yeah, I would go Tyree Wilson here. I would let that kid loose.
Yeah, I think
he's going to devastate. He's going to devastate.
I would go Tyree Wilson too. I know that sucks to hear for Bears fans because I know a lot of them love Tyree Wilson, but I think that's a good pick. So we're going to go Tyree.
Yep.
Deserve.
I know that the Bears are a very good defensive team for most of the time. This is the point where they need to draft tackle. They need to protect Justin Fields. Yep. Now, is that Skoronski?
I feel like I would go bigger. One of the two of them. Sorry.
No, you're good.
They have a much bigger split than I thought between these two, like just in their ADP or their rank. I think it's a lot closer than that. Skoronski's been knocked because he has the short arms. Paris Johnson has size. Obviously, like coming from Ohio State, he might have a little bit more of a scheme fit than you'd expect than you would like get from Skoronski. I might go Paris Johnson here, if I'm going to be honest.
I'm fine with either. My thought process is if they have the kind of quarterback in Justin Fields, you might need someone that does have a little bit of a shorter arm span and can be a little more athletic. I mean, that's just my 2 cents, but he's going to have to keep up with the pocket because the pocket's not going to be rigid and he's not staying in one place. I mean, he's just not.
No, for sure. And I think Skoronski has that athleticism. I could see it too. I don't think that's a bad pick.
No, but I mean, I think if they get either, they're going to be set. It just that's more just like I'm just picking at whatever. So
I feel like they have to tackle.
Yeah, they definitely need to. Out of everything else right now, they need to protect Justin Fields. I mean,
yeah, he's the priority.
He has shown that he can be the guy if they give him the right tools. They got him DJ Moore in the offseason. Get him a tackle in the top of this draft, and he's gonna do well. He's gonna do well. So, especially that division should be pretty much wide open at this point. I mean, the Vikings are good, sure, but they're also mid.
So we're going with Pepper?
They're the definitions of mid. They really are. Always. Anyways,
I'd say Skoronski.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. Skoronski it is. Moving on to the Eagles pick. How are we doing work? They could go for another wide receiver here. I don't think Quentin Johnson would be likely pick. I feel like that's just a redundant skill set. I don't really see a lot of ways around going receiver here, but honestly, if they really want to go for something, I love Brian Branch. Obviously, it's just putting that safety mark on him. This dude was so versatile in college. He played everywhere on the defensive backside. I saw him line up in slot. He's lined up outside. He's lined up at both safety positions. Brian Branch, I think, would be my pick just because of that. I think Howie values that versatility. The NFL is getting to a stage where, like, you get the Jalen Petries and I can't think of the dude who went to Cincinnati last year in the same class, but both of them were just versatile safeties. But I want to hear what you guys think.
I like that. I mean, I think that the Eagles have had their fair share of game-changing safeties, and definitely taking a book out of their own page on that and going for a guy like that, I mean, would be great. What's that?
You said book out of their own page.
Yeah, they're taking a book out of their own page. I mean, they drafted Brian Dawkins, and
get yourself out of it.
I can't remember his name for the life of me, but I know he's really good.
I also can't remember sayings, but that's fine.
What?
Page out
of their own book.
What did I say?
Book out of your own
book
page.
out of their own page.
Wow, that's terrible. Anyways, moving forward, because I'm having a stroke. Yeah, I mean, I could see them drafting safety here. Moving down and getting that pick. I mean, it's not like they're going to be missing out. They have wide receivers. I don't understand that.
They're not going to touch offense.
There's no way that's their biggest need because they have A.J. Brown and Devonta Smith. So I don't understand that. I don't get that. I can also see them going interior defensive line. They've always enjoyed having a guy like Fletcher Cox, and they could draft his replacement in this draft. So, Kalijah.
So what are you thinking then? You're thinking Kalijah?
Personally, if it's tough because they've drafted really good players at both positions. If Kalijah is there, my guess is that they're going to want to go with more of a front seven because Philly has been more of a front seven team. So,
dude, the idea of Jordan Davis and Kalijah Kancey playing next to each other is so disgusting, and I love
Scary.
that.
And then we have to play them twice a year. Fucking unreal.
That sucks, dude. I don't hate the Kalijah Kancey pick there.
No, I can agree with that. It's either that or a safety. They're like I said, they're not going to touch offense.
It's either Branch or Kancey. That's the only two that I could really see them going for. I mean, maybe Van Ness, but they don't need the edge help. They could really plug up some holes in the middle.
I'm gonna be honest, man. I don't. Neither one of them is like an immediate need necessarily for the team, right? Like they have DBs, but they're all older, and that's what makes me lean Brian Branch. And they have defensive interior, like you said, Cox and Davis are both there. But Kalijah Kancey, I think, is such a game changer. I don't know. I'm gonna say Kancey just because the idea of him and Davis lining up together excites the fuck out of me.
I think that would excite. I think that would excite anybody. They have a young defensive tackle in what was his name? You guys just said it. I had a brain fart.
Jordan Davis.
Davis. I think they're going to draft young. They're going to restart. They've had Fletcher Cox for what? 16 years? 17 years?
Long.
He's going to be, he's going to retire soonish. So I think
right.
I think that's a safe pick with them.
All right, let's do Kalijah Kancey then. I'm with it.
Sounds good.
Lock it in. All right, so now we are at the Lions pick.
Yes.
So this one becomes a little bit more clear at this point. You can get some never mind. You can get a wide receiver, feel a little more comfortable if you really wanted to. You can get a tight end here. Defensive interior, kind of just lost the best defensive interior option you had. So they're likely going to wait. Ignore Brian Brzee. He is much later. Don't buy into that.
Honestly, at this pick, I would go Christian Gonzalez. I would toss a young kid in that cornerback room of mid-level journeyman and really see what he can do.
Yeah,
I don't hate it. I don't really see anything else they're doing there, to be honest.
Just no wide receiver. This is a wide receiver. I think the Texans draft wide receiver here.
You took the words right out of my mouth. They have to. They need help. They have their quarterback. They got to find a guy that can mesh with their new future.
So here's the question though: is what do you do, right? Because Quentin Johnson's arguably the best X receiver in this class, and you don't really have that. I guess Nico Collins, but whatever. Jackson Smith and Jigba slot. As much as we don't want to admit it, and he has versatility. He's a slot. Zay Flowers, Y in slot, but with slot, you're playing with John Mechie, who might be coming back. I honestly think the pick is either Zay or Quentin Johnson, and I'm leaning Quentin Johnson just for a field stretcher to put some size.
I would lead Quentin Johnson for this pick, more specifically because he is that X. They don't have Brandon Cooks anymore. They have Nico Collins. They still have John Mechie, who's going to be coming back. So I think that they are. What's that?
Potentially, we haven't heard anything about it.
He should be coming back. I mean, so we'll see. We'll see there. But I think adding Quentin Johnson to that room will give the Texans some nice young options. And I mean, hey, we'll see what Davis Mills has. I mean, he's got nothing to lose. He's on the Texans for shit's sake. So give him Quentin.
The opposition.
Yeah.
What's that?
Yes. What?
What?
What did you say? You kind of was foggy there.
Oh, sorry.
Oh,
I said, do you have any opposition?
I would probably go in JSN. I just think he's from my perspective. I've heard most about him, and I feel like they'd go with the Ohio State guy. I don't know too much about Quentin Johnson, if I'm being honest. So I think JSN would be my pick. But
all right, tiebreaker, James. Going Johnson, or you going JSN?
I don't want to buy it, but I know teams aren't super high on him. I'm gonna go JSN. Honestly, I don't hate that. I did say Zay or Quentin, but I like the more I digest Jackson Smith and Jigba and Bryce Young, I love that. And that's just like a college football wet dream for me.
this is where the future starts for Houston. This is where it begins. I feel like.
Oh, by the way, it's not Bryce Young. It's
TJ.
Yeah, CJ Stroud.
Oh yeah, that's right, CJ Stroud. Oh, so we just paired up Ohio State again.
Oh well, yeah,
that
makes more sense. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Again, look what it did for Joe. So.
All right, so right here with the Jet pick, tackle and linebacker. I don't expect them to have this pick, but we're gonna pick as if they do.
I mean, it seems like the Packers are gonna, steal that pick. I mean, if they were to pick either Paris Johnson or honestly, I could see them going tight end here.
Huh?
Who's their tight end right now?
No.
Yeah,
the dude who was in Minnesota last year or 2 years ago. I can't think of his name with the ponytail.
Oh.
I forget. I honestly.
All right, so clearly they need to.
CJ Uzama's there.
Yes, he is. They've had a carousel of just low
Tyler
tight ends.
Collins.
That's it. Collins.
Yeah. Okay. Sure.
Yeah, I feel like tight end would be the.
So they could, because you're getting that dual role. You're getting the blocking, and you're getting that extra receiver on the field. Your offense would be that much more complete with that kind of dual threat. So I mean,
if they get Aaron Rodgers, we all know that Aaron Rodgers likes his tight ends as a safety blanket. So
that's true. Yeah, I mean, you could see that. It would be interesting to see if they do get Rodgers, if they go tight end at one of those picks. Only because I don't know, he doesn't do well with rookies. I feel like he just doesn't really. He doesn't really mesh. I don't know. Yeah. He's a weird dude. There's nothing else I can say, but he's just fucking weirdo. But yeah, I would go either Dalton Kincaid here, Michael Mayer. I know that they kind of swapped positions a little bit, but I would pick one of those two, or Paris Johnson. I feel like the Paris Johnson to the Jets is kind of what I've seen a lot and kind of makes sense to me. So we'll see.
Nick, what's your pick? What do you think?
Between the tackle, between Paris Johnson and Kincaid, I think I'm going to go Paris Johnson. They could always need help at the running back, offensive line position, I think, because they got running backs. They need to protect the quarterback. They literally have every position filled, and I feel like offensive line, you can always be better. So that's where I'm at.
Thank God you can get a haul for that. Zach, you're up. And I'm going to let you just handle this one. That's very funny that they list quarterback there.
I don't even know what to say about that. They would never. This is not the draft class for them to pick quarterback.
No, we're just in a weird.
I mean, yeah, but I don't know. We're weird because we've had one quarterback for the last 20 years, and one style of offense, and one we're in flux right now. We don't know. I don't know what kind of offense that Bill O'Brien has in store for us this year. I have them at a 7-10 ceiling, not very high on it, but I want to see them hit on a wide receiver. They need a wide receiver. They need one.
I've talked to so many fans about who they want, and they're all, go defense, go off. No,
fuck that shit. Bill Belichick can coach a defense. For some reason, he can't coach an offense. Josh McDaniels has been able to do that. Every offensive coordinator that he's had has done a good, if not great, job for him. When he tried to do it on his own with his own fucking crony bullshit motherfuckers, he did terrible. Probably one of the worst executed offenses of all time. Anyway, sorry, Nick.
No, you're good. I'm just tired. I honestly, I don't hate the Patriots. As a Giants fan, I don't hate the Patriots, but I'm so sick and tired of the Patriots getting these second-rate receivers and thinking they can go off with them. Pick a receiver in the first round. Give your team a fucking weapon for once.
I mean, he does have a knack of finding 100-yard reception, 5-time 100-yard reception receivers in the 7th round or on the Dolphins practice squad. So I mean,
I understand, but at some point you gotta change it up. I understand that they've had the same.
This is where, if Quentin Johnson is still on the motherfucking board, I want the Patriots to take a guy that can take over a game, that is an alpha receiver. The Patriots have not had that, I don't think, ever, honestly. Actually, JK, Brady Moss. But that's besides the point.
Yeah.
I would take Quentin Johnson if I were the Patriots. And if Bill O'Brien is truly running the offense, he should decide who he is drafting this year. He should be given the keys to the Patriots offense. That includes any draft picks that are going to potentially be a part of this offense this year. I like Quentin Johnson. I would take Zay Flowers, but I keep going back and forth. I want a baller. Quentin Johnson is a baller. Give me Quentin Johnson at 14. If he's still on the board, give it to him.
All right, sounds good. Quentin Johnson, and we move on to the Packers.
The Packers are drafting a punter.
Quarterback, not a likely choice here. I think this is where they would go tight end, personally.
I agree. I think Michael Myers.
I was going to say Michael Myers. Whatever.
I think he might be a better fit for the Packers than Dalton Kincaid, but I mean, that's just...
Well, Michael Myers also plays like what Robert Tonyan thinks he plays like. That's
a good comparison, actually. Dude, Robert Tonyan thinks he's a baller, but he's not.
Where did he end up?
I forget.
He's still there.
No, he left.
No. Yeah, he's somewhere. Are we gonna go with Michael Myers here?
Yeah, send it.
All right, Washington's on the clock. I know who I will go here, but I want to hear quarterback, guard, center, sticking on that interior, or a linebacker.
This is tough because I don't. Washington's kind of in a weird spot. They have a lot of weird needs. Like QB, they could, but they're not in a position to really draft in the top 10. I guess they still have an unproven. You're going Osiris Torrance here?
That's my guy. That's my pick, but that's just my thing. I mean, there's a lot of things.
That's a big. I mean, for what kind of talent's left on the board, I mean, that's a pretty big reach. Not to say that if Washington Commanders wouldn't do that because they're the fucking Washington Commanders, but yeah, I mean,
Bobby
I think
Tonyan, Chicago Bears.
Oh, okay, that's right. It's actually not a bad fit. I kind of like that for them.
No.
And I think something that they're not mentioning here also is their need for DB. They do need defensive backs. I don't know if anybody's gonna mention. Yeah, look at what the fans actually have been drafting, like Joey Porter Jr., Deonte Banks. I wouldn't hate Deonte Banks at that point. But
okay, I mean, I would definitely see DB here. So
for me, it'd be either defensive back or tackle, one of the two. Like I said, you can always get better at offensive line. So.
Deonte Banks?
Do it.
Yeah, I'll go DB. Send it.
All right. The Steelers are on the clock. Tackle, linebacker, defensive back. This one here, I do think goes to Joey Porter. I think they keep him in Pennsylvania, but Darnell Wright's also an interesting pick. Linebacker, there's no one that really stands out to me right now. Lucas Van Ness being still available is a little bit of a crime, but that's a whole other story anyway.
Yeah, I mean, I could either see them going Joey Porter, or if Van Ness is still on the board at this point, they might take a book and go. They might take a book. Jesus Christ, they might go for it. So I mean, I don't know. I would, my gut would tell me that we're drafting weird and Van Ness would already be off the board. So yeah, I would go Joey Porter Jr. I think that that's probably a good pick for them at this point, or at really any point in the draft. I mean, they're going to get a really good player. So
honestly, Nick, any opposition?
No. Didn't they sign Pat Peterson?
They did, yes.
They did. So I think that they bring in. I think Joey Porter makes sense because they have a guy in Pat Pete that can be a mentor and teach him the ropes in the NFL.
Yeah,
so
that's a good point.
It fits.
I got a lot of shit for this at one point. Where do we go with their last? Where are they? Where's Tennessee? We went Gonzalez last pick. I got a lot of shit for this. Lucas Van Ness will be a good pick. I love Dalton Kincaid here.
They need a tight end.
They do. They do need a tight end. They obviously traded TJ Hawkinson. I would take Van Ness. You can't pass up the opportunity to double dip here and put Van Ness across from Aiden Hutchinson and then have your riches on defense.
Okay. I don't hate it. Wow.
No. I don't hate it either. We can go
Lucas Van Ness, 10 now the Bucks. Okay, quarterback, big need. Tight end, also a need. Offensive line across the board. Defensive interior, Jesus. Safety still on the board. Wow. Tom Brady covered a lot of fucking bullet holes on this entire team, man.
He did that for pretty much any team that he was on.
So what do you guys think here? I mean, do we protect them? Do we?
I have no idea what you even do here if you're the Bucks. I mean, there are just so many holes on your team right now, and you are sinking very fast. I could see them going tight end. I feel like that this is a weird position where they can just kind of pick whatever they want. Although Brian Branch is sitting right there, I could see if Brian Branch is still sitting there at 19 that they could scoop him up. They do need a little bit more of an infusion of youth on the defense. So I'm as a Buck, I'm fine with either of those picks. But I don't know, it's like putting a piece of tape over a bullet hole, so it just doesn't really matter at this point.
I'm probably gonna go Brian Branch. I'm in agreement there because I think with Baker there, I don't know if, and I don't think Tampa Bay knows that he's the future. So I think they're gonna have a trial season. They're to me they are a more of a defensive team. So I think bringing in a young guy and helping out with that safety room. So I think that might be the pick there.
Yeah, kind of. What you do well, so why try and change it, kind of thing.
Exactly.
I get you. All right, cool with that. Seahawks. They're going either guard or center here. Whatever.
Let's just narrow it down. How about we just friggin' narrow it down?
Osiris.
All right. So, I mean, Osiris would be a wet dream for them. I would either go Osiris Torrance. Look at Joe Tippmann. I love him. John Michael Schmitz. Don't sleep on this dude. I know PFF has him low. John Michael Schmitz is a early second round pick at the latest, honestly. I don't buy to that 65 rank, the 55. I think he
looks rough in that picture.
Yeah, he looks like he just went through war.
The guy above him looks like a West Tennessee country boy. And he
love it. Look at that face.
Oh my God.
Dude, all of his face is in 3 inches of each other.
That's like a 70s mullet right there. That shit's legit.
That guy's fucked.
Yeah, no, he does.
All right, but do you think they go Cyrus Torrance here, the large guard out of Florida?
If you're the Seahawks here, right? Like, if you trade down, you could get a couple more picks, whatever, or you can just take the guy that you want at 20. I mean, there are a lot of teams that are gonna need guard and tackle help coming up. Why wait? I mean, you can take him, and he'll still be there right now if you take him. So
yeah,
there are very few true. I think we talked about this one point, like true blue chip prospects in the draft class, and I really think Osiris Torrance is one of them. His size, his speed, he's got free combinations, and on the interior, it's sexy, it's hot, it's drenched. Right. I love it. Anyway,
I believe
here we go, Chargers. What are we gonna do, Chargers? What are the Chargers gonna do? What could the Chargers possibly do? Where are the Chargers gonna go?
Yeah,
where are the Chargers?
Zay Flowers is a Charger.
No. What the hell happened here? What happened in December?
I don't know. Maybe Phil was fucking terrible.
I mean, Phil Dracovic was ass this year. That's why he's back in Pittsburgh. He's from Pittsburgh, but that's anyway. Ravens, wide receiver, edge, cornerback. Ravens notorious for letting the draft come to them. What are we gonna do here, though? What are we gonna do?
This is a tough one.
Wide receiver. Jordan Addison looks real nice and freaking purple. I
think the Ravens finally decide to go for it here, and they go little Jordan Addison.
Well,
I don't know if there's any truth to this, but there was something that I read that said that Lamar wanted Odell Beckham and DeAndre Hopkins. I don't know if
I saw that.
I don't know if Baltimore is going to try and go after D-Hop. If they do, I could see them trading away this pick. I'm just not sure what Baltimore. I don't know what Baltimore is doing as a team in the moment. So
I don't know if they know what they're doing as a team.
Yeah, it doesn't seem that way.
It doesn't look good.
So Jordan Addison.
Yeah, I would say Jordan Addison. I feel like that's a good fit. That or Josh Downs, but I don't know if they're going to reach for that.
If I was going to go DB, I'd either go Forbes. I mean, I could see Cam Smith, but I think Emmanuel Forbes is going to be super slept on in this class. I'd like them taking him at corner. But I agree, Jordan Addison, gone. See you. Smell you later, idiot. Vikings, wide receiver, defensive interior, linebacker, and cornerback. Wow, they need a lot. I don't know how they are surviving. I don't know how they were in the position they were this year.
This is where I could see Emmanuel Forbes going, James. I feel like it's a very weird, Vikings pick.
Okay. Vikings notoriously weird at drafting. They
really are. They're just weird drafting in general. I feel like you've seen a lot of players go there, and it's just it's oddly a good fit, and you don't really know why. Like Dalvin Cook was a really good one, just fit for him. I mean, Justin Jefferson was going to be ridiculous.
Future free agent.
But, I know, right? They're going to cut him.
So we're going to go Emmanuel Forbes here?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm for it.
I'm not really in love with anyone else at that position, but Emmanuel Forbes is Hinsky. So, interior offensive line, edge, defensive back for the Jags. Honestly, I kind of like Nolan Smith here.
I was going to say, I feel like the Georgia connection there.
Say what? What?
What? The Georgia connection?
What'd you say?
What? I'm confused. I said I like Nolan Smith. I think the Georgia connection would work.
Oh. All right, good job. I agree. That's a good call.
I mean, Jacksonville and Atlanta are not that far from each other, so.
Do it.
Well, I mean, also fucking Trayvon Walker.
That too.
Yeah,
that was also my other point. But
all right, so we're gonna go Nolan Smith here.
Do it.
I say so.
Do it. Ah, damn it! No, wait, we played right into Nick's fucking trap. No,
I was waiting for it.
No,
I was waiting for it.
Nope, not happening.
I don't know if he'll be there, but if he's there by the time we pick, we have to pick him. I'm staying greedy on that one. I think it's gonna be my catchphrase, guys.
Stay greedy. Here's my thing though, is like we can't deny him this pick because I was like, yeah, Zach fucking picked the Patriots, sure. Like I have to click this button now. I have to. There is no legal way out.
I know.
Send it.
Fuck it, you're getting Charles McKellen.
So bad. Fucking terrible.
Fuck the Cowboys.
Ridiculous. Yeah, I agree with that.
Cowboys, running back, defensive interior linebacker, cornerback. I don't love anybody here. I don't love.
Fuck it, Jahmyr Gibbs, bitch.
You're gonna go Gibbs right after?
Jahmyr fucking Gibbs. We're gonna pair him up, tandem style.
Yeah, I can see that happening. Okay. They need help.
I don't necessarily hate it, honestly. They don't see anybody.
I don't
hate whatever.
it, and not only that, I think they're gonna fucking panic because now that if Bijan is gone, they're gonna be like, shit, we need Jahmyr.
Mm-hmm.
So
what do you think here?
Bills. The Bills are weird. I mean, they could use a tight end. I feel like they've been hurting for a good tight end for a while. Dalton Knox is hit or miss. I mean, I don't know. I don't know. I could see them going linebacker here too. I feel like we haven't seen any linebackers come off the board. There really aren't too many that really jump off the page at you, but
yeah, I mean, if I was gonna go for anyone here, I think I don't know why Trent Simpson's fallen that far. Trent Simpson's I think is a great fucking player. Deion Henley, I guess. It would either be Campbell or Sanders for me.
Yeah, I mean, if you're the Bills, you could probably get him on the swing around if you need him, maybe.
Right. Like I wouldn't be worried about that if I was them. Honestly, I'm gonna say my man Cam Smith goes here. Where is he? Boop, boop.
All right.
Yeah.
Just in case DeMar Hamlin goes down.
Do it.
Hit the button. Cam Smith is so fucking good. I love Cam Smith. Cincinnati Bengals. Dalton Kincaid looking real fucking thick here. I'm not even gonna lie to you.
Yeah, I think that's we're all in agreement there.
You get Joe another weapon, and you get him offensive line help at the same time. That's you can't miss out on that shit.
All right, guard, center, defensive line, and cornerback for the Saints. They could use a lot. Let's be real. Wide receiver still a need.
The Saints is tough. I mean, I feel like they're gonna go. They're probably gonna go with a best available here. And maybe go tackle because sometimes you can have tackles that flip flop and go to guard, or vice versa. So I think maybe the Saints go Darnell Wright here, best available left on the board. They could go Anton Harrison here, and transition them to the inside. So I don't know. I could see something like that happening.
Yeah, I agree with Zach. I think that's where they need help.
I mean, they did sign their quote quarterback of the future in Derek Carr. So
my fucking ass.
Yeah, I know, no kidding. You and everyone else's ass.
Darnell Wright it is. Eagles back on the board and at the late, they could do a lot with this pick. After going, where were they? They were Kalijah Cansey. So defensive interior is taken care of. You can ignore that. Safety, there's probably still options. Hold on. Let me find it. Antonio Johnson's really a nice pick, but I mean, blank eye is going to call that a reach. Guard, center. This might be where that John Schmidt comes up. But what?
Nothing really screams out at me for this pick. I could see them trading out, especially with what they got their first time around. But just for shits and giggles, maybe drafting a wide receiver here.
Yeah. Who's that?
Depends.
Joshua Downs, Nathaniel Tankdell.
I would go Josh Downs here. I think he would be a better fit for I almost said the Flyers because I'm watching hockey right now. For the Eagles, but I mean, it really, it's really up to the crowd here. I would go Josh Downs on this one, but
I feel like Downs is probably the better of the wide receiver group that's up there. So I think that's if that's what they're looking at, I think Downs would be solid.
Solid playmaker coming in, and now last but not least, our Super Bowl champion Chiefs.
and they get a good pick here for defense for defense really. If you want to go back to the board for me when you're all set, Miles Murphy be very, very good pick for them.
I feel like
I guess I'm not as in love with Miles Murphy as I was pre-draft process, so I'm a little jaded on him, but I get that.
You guys, if you have other suggestions, it's the last pick in the draft, so
I think Edge is a good bet out. I think Miles or Felix would be my picks, honestly. BJ Ojolari is not a bad pick either. He's kind of, I don't know why he's fallen down so far.
Was he projected? He's projected first round, isn't he?
Oh, BJ?
Yeah. If not first round, like top 5 in the second.
Yeah, I mean that's about where they have him live on PFF, but that's where I've seen him on other people's boards. I don't know why he's so low on PFFs.
I think BJ might be a solid pick for them. They always need help on defense.
I honestly don't hate that pick. I'm all in on BJ Ojolari.
Yeah,
I can go with that too. I mean, I think that they would go edge here. I feel like they've lived at this like 28th to 32nd pick in the last 5 years, obviously. And they can just bolster up on defense because Patrick Mahomes can carry that offense to whatever it needs to do. So, Cool. All right, well, fucking first round mock. I'm assuming we will this time around, but I don't know. It says
I don't know. Last time it took forever. It does not take this long to grade our draft.
Yeah. All right. Well, I mean, as that goes, we can just finish it off and fucking sign off and shit. But first round mock, definitely some room for improvement on our picks. There were some players left on the board that I feel like that shouldn't escape the first round, but I mean that just kind of happens.
You also can't anticipate who's going to trade because last year's draft there were some serious trades that went down. Obviously, the big one, AJ Brown. So you never know if that'll be another year of that.
Right. So you definitely could see it. I mean, there are a good chunk of teams that are primed to trade around. I feel like some years you get a good feel as to what teams need what, and they kind of fall into their respective places. Mm-hmm. This year feels a lot weird. There are teams with needs that are just not fitting into that draft slot and when these prospects are slated to be taken. So I mean, there's a lot of room for interpretation on this. So it's going to be interesting to see. I mean, it's less than 2 weeks away. So
yeah, next Thursday.
I know.
Yeah.
Zack and no, never mind.
No, it's
the day
2 weeks.
It's next Friday, I believe. Next Friday.
No, I think next Friday. I thought it goes Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
I thought it was the 20. I thought it was the 20.
It's the 28th. I got mixed up.
28th to the 30th, right? Or it could be the 27th to the.
No, it's the 28th. Right.
It's the 28th.
Yeah.
We got a busy weekend next week.
Yeah, I was gonna say we're going to a sports book, right?
Oh, what? Why are we gonna? Can we gamble at the casino? Can we bet in the casino?
We can. I don't know. Does anyone out there know if? Well, actually, no one's watching us, so it doesn't fucking matter. But I don't know if Connecticut legalized sports betting. I'm not sure if they did. They did?
I think so.
Okay, all right.
Well,
I'll have to check it out. I mean, now that Mass has it, it's amazing because Croatian soccer. But
yeah, Zack makes all his money on Croatian soccer.
Amazing.
I'm getting rid of it. I'm getting rid of the fucking this thing. It's stupid.
Yeah,
it's not working.
Yeah, just whatever. It doesn't matter. I would give our overall grade. I would give it a solid B-. I think that we addressed a lot of major needs for teams, but we just kind of had a weird couple picks in between there that we just didn't really know what to do with. There were probably going to be some trades made, all that good stuff. So I would give us a B-. I think it's a solid first mock draft for the first round. So
1 of 1. I thought we stuck a little bit too tight. At this point, I think it's fine to stick to like ADP, but I think we stuck a little too tight to it. I'm gonna give it like a B flat. I wasn't in love with it.
Yeah, there were some fits there that could have been a little bit better. I feel like the first 6 or 7 picks, I feel like we kind of had an understanding of what was going to happen, but then after that, it was really just a weird. I definitely think the Lions are going to trade out of that pick, especially if what they're looking for is not there, and that would be Jalen Carter or Willie Anderson, pretty much.
My question to you guys about the Lions is, how long do you hold on to, what's his name, quarterback? Another
Jared
brain
Goff?
fart. Jared, yeah, how long do you hold on to him? I mean, he's not good. He ain't bad either.
Right.
I would Yeah, I mean, I would hold on to him as long as the system holds.
Well, yeah.
I mean,
okay.
It's really weird for me to say, but I feel like they're building a very good system over there.
Dan Campbell has that team.
Dan Campbell is doing an excellent job of really coaching that team up. And, not long ago, Jared Goff was a first overall pick. So he did bring a team to I wouldn't say he brought a team to a Super Bowl, but He helped. He was a major
at a Super Bowl.
He was a major part of getting them there, and then just didn't show up in the actual game.
He had a good regular season.
Yeah, he did. I mean, so did Carson Wentz, and then he died, which was really sad. But yeah, I mean, the framework is there for the Lions to be a good team. They could make a wild card push. They have a chance to win that division if they nail this draft. And so I think I don't think you mess with what's there right now. I would give them maybe another year or two, kind of just take a look at what's out there, because if you have a good framework of your team, what Dan Campbell is building, you draft a quarterback and you have a 5-year window right there.
True.
Yeah, I agree with that. I just think you got to ride it as long, like Zack said, you got to ride as long as possible until you hit the point where you're look, we love Jared, but we have to move on. We have to gamble on a guy that's going to be our guy. Kind of like what the Niners did with Jimmy G.
And the Lions are in probably one of the best situations in the NFL right now, because they have a good system that's in place. It's only growing. The players there finally are enjoying football again.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you had Matt Patricia there for what, 2 or 3 years? Everyone fucking hated him.
Miserable. Yeah. They hated him.
Yeah. I mean, I unfortunately look like him at some points in my life, which is not a good comparison, but there was just this one picture that floated around for a while. I was like, that's really creepy. But I mean, it's just you have the right system, things will start to fall in place, and they're in a situation where they could wait. I mean, it's not like Detroit's going to burn anymore.
No.
Chicago, on the other hand, that shit could go bad real fast. But
real fast.
I mean,
I don't know. I love what Chicago's doing. I love what Ryan Poles is building.
Oh no, I just meant the city in general, not like.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I like what both of those teams are doing, more specifically with the Lions, because they're building their system up and key players up around, and then they're eventually gonna find their quarterback through the draft process, or they might trade for one. Who knows? On the flip side, I feel like the Bears are doing what a lot of other teams do, and they find their guy, and then they don't have the team in place, and they're kind of filling the holes around him. Yeah. I feel like the Bears are doing a lot better than other teams have done in the past with that, especially with Justin Fields being who he is and what he did last year. So, anyways.
The thought just popped in my head with the Bears real quick before we get off is, what if they took Bijan? I mean, it's they need a running back, right? I mean, they
do. I mean, I don't necessarily know. That's just a weird eye fit for me. I don't really know why. There's just certain teams that I can see players on, and just Bijan Robinson to the Bears is just not
one of them.
Not one of those fits. I mean, it's possible that it could happen. I just I don't see that. Just looking at their running backs of the past, I guess maybe the only one that would compare to what kind of running back Bijan Robinson is, and this is a fucking stretch and a half, but you're kidding me. I just said David Montgomery and his kind of production value, but that's really it. I mean, Matt Forte was a completely different type of running back.
Mm-hmm.
I would like to see them go Jahmyr Gibbs, if anything.
That would make more sense to me. I could see that happening. I couldn't see Bijan Robinson. and not for a lack of fit either. It doesn't seem like it's just one of those things. It's like it's a mental block. I can't see.
Yeah. All right.
Cool. Yeah. Any final thoughts for this fucking long ass episode, James?
No, that's it. Let's wrap it up.
Burnt out. I gotta go fucking watch the Bruins game, so we're doing that.
Yeah, remember when you said Drew could like pop on for part of it? Turns out he missed like an hour of content. All right, well, that is our show, ladies and gentlemen. Let me put this on so I don't get in trouble. Hey, Megan Wilson, thank you for stopping in.
Oh, hello, Megan. Yeah, what's up?
Anyway, bye. Love you. Bye. There we go. I don't know if I have anything else to say, but you know where to find us everywhere at BOTA Sports, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, TikTok. You can also find our podcast by searching BOTA Sports. That'll bring up Garbage Time and soon to be back the BOTA Show, which will be real fun.
Got some content drops coming for you guys this week before our bachelor party, so don't you worry, it's coming. Don't you worry.
I know. It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be a good time. We got some good stuff pumping out before. Don't expect anything out of that weekend. Not like I've been active on the weekends anyway. But if there's any news that drops, suck it. That's all I've got, ladies and gentlemen. Please, for the love of God, just stay beautiful.
Make sure you stay salty, because it's gonna be dry.
Stay greedy. I'm keeping that.
Stay greedy.
I like that.
Stay greedy.
I like that.
I found it.
I fucking love it, Nick. I love it.
Let's do it, boys. It was fun.
Rapper.